I want a camera that is small, lightweight, takes incredible raw photos, and can get me basically any photo at any focal length in any situation. The Ricoh GR III is not that, but in some ways I'm starting to think it might be exactly what I need.
I'm getting married, and afterwards we're gonna be going to Europe for a little bit. And if there's one thing that I learned from my trip to Italy earlier this year, it's that carrying around even a moderately sized camera like my R6, it sucks. It can get basically any shot that I want, but it's not like it fits in my pocket, obviously. This one, however, does. But I don't know what I'm willing to sacrifice for that, and I'm curious, what would you sacrifice?
This is the Ricoh GR III. The Ricoh comes in two different versions, the GR3 and the GR3X. Now there's a bunch of different variants with different filters and stuff like that, but the two main versions are the 3 and the 3X. The latter of which has a 48mm lens on the camera as opposed to the standard version's 28mm lens. I picked the 28mm and I'm not sure why. It's just the one that I have. It's rented, by the way, just for me to figure out whether I like it.
Let's talk about what you're giving up if you take this camera with you and nothing else.
First, as I mentioned, this is a fixed focal length. You zoom with your feet, which is fine some of the time, but sometimes there's fences. On my big setup, I could always get any shot that I wanted at any focal length just by changing the lens. You're also giving up an electronic viewfinder, a flip-out tilt screen, and depending upon your current camera, a built-in flash. The only one of these things that I actually really wish the Ricoh had was the flip-out screen, although in some ways it actually adds to one of the things that I have found I really love about this camera, and I'll talk more about that in a minute. Additionally, the Ricoh isn't weather or even dust sealed, so you have to be a little bit more cautious with that, although I have heard that some people have taken it out in light rain and had no issues. Don't quote me on that.
The build quality is also not necessarily the best. Like, some of the buttons feel a little bit loose, and even the battery is kind of small and just doesn't seem like it should be in a $1,000 camera. This doesn't change the performance of the camera. It still shoots fine, but I mean, for $1,000, I want something that feels like $1,000, generally speaking. Some people complain about the autofocus on this camera, but like, honestly, I haven't had any issues with this. Even in low light, it performed really well. I mean, yeah, you wouldn't want to use it for sports or animal photography, things that are fast moving, you have to track a little bit better, but that's really not what this camera is built for anyway. And finally, I don't know if this needs to be said, but this isn't a video camera. It can shoot video, of course, but I don't see why you would ever use this instead of your phone.
Speaking of versus your phone, why would I use this when the phone cameras that we have now are so dang good? Well, here's where we get into what you get with the Ricoh and why it might be worth giving up all of that other stuff. I'm willing to bet that this is not the first video that you've watched about the Ricoh, so here's a list of things you probably already know about it. Not only is it pocketable, it is comfortably pocketable. The controls are very intuitive and customizable, the image stabilization is incredible, the lens is super sharp, and the color science and quality from the APS-C sensor is ridiculously good. Even JPEGs from the Ricoh have blown me away. But I'm not going to pretend to be some great street photographer. I'm no James Popsis, I just like doing it for fun. And that exactly is what the Ricoh brought me. Fun.
I have never enjoyed photography the way that I do just walking around snapping pictures with this camera. And I'm sorry, it's hard to explain. You just don't know it until you try it. It's a special feeling.
There's just a freedom to it, and that comes from unexpected places. Because it's a fixed focal length, I just think about what I'm capturing instead of what focal length I'm capturing it at.
The lack of a flip-out screen encourages me to take more blind photos. I mean, just really from the hip, boom, not even looking. You don't always hit them, but when you do, it freaking rocks and it's so fun. I've also never felt more confident just taking random photos of people on the street because I generally don't like to bother people. It's not my thing, but somehow the Ricoh is like, it's practically invisible. My regular camera setup is obviously huge, so it's just big and obvious and intrusive. And a cell phone, honestly, it just kind of gives me like creepy stalker vibes because people don't know that you're a photographer. I'll prove it to you. What's weirder, this or this? You know the phone's weirder. It's definitely weirder. It's all these little things, like all these intangibles that really make the Ricoh an awesome photography experience that I've never had before.
So yeah, it's not everything that I want, but at the same time, it could be everything that I need. So what do you think? Should I buy one of these things? I mean, $1,000 can buy some plane tickets or a drone to get shots that I currently can't get at all. I don't know. I really think that I'm gonna have to sleep on it. But either way, whenever I pull this thing out, I fall more and more in love with it.